YouTube told me that I can't subscribe to any more people's channels because I don't have any subscribers. But I got all these books I need to read, so I'm becoming illiterate. This is a plant book, The Woman's Day Book of Wildflowers by Jean Heresy, published by Simon and Schuster. And I just want to read the introduction. Well, let's see. First, my bookmark. It's cute. I think I got that from my mom in elementary school. It says little things may bring great happiness. May. All right. And this dedication, it says, "We are the roadside flowers, straying from garden grounds, lovers of idle hours, breakers of ordered bounds." It was written by Bliss Carmen. No idea who that is, but that's lovely. Whew. I found this in Bennington, Vermont, at a really cool local bookstore. Beauty Refracted by Carol Moldoda, printed by Four Way Books. And I bought it because it's like, I want some poetry, and then I picked it up, in the first one I came to was about, the first one I opened it to was about an eclipse, and it was just before the eclipse that happened in June or something, I don't know. It's called Connundrum, and it's for NR, whoever that is. NR. Connundrum. Pear-shaped and hanging piñata-like from the branch of a fruiting pear tree, the paper wasp nest, once I saw it for what it was, became an emblem for things not being what they seem, and quick as a blink, hard to shake associations. Even the sun, remember, has cold spots and more apt sweet spots on fruit where the sugar's concentrated, look like bumpy blemishes, fatal flaws. Maybe the mind isn't a sieve at all, or after all. I thought, but a geode whose scraped casing conceals mineralized reserves, chalcedony, amethyst, quartz, or wasps. I was eyeing the nest again. Its flaking, marbled gray, concentric papier-mâché layers as thin as Saturn's rock and ice rings. Our rupture had been a wreckage so total as to shudder any memory of what exactly had been wrecked. Only now, years later, a glimmer, an eclipsed sun's black pearl. Carol Moldoda, Connundrum. My brother-in-law bought me this journal forever ago. I had to rip out a bunch of lists before I could really use it. I bought this for my friend. I have a couple ladies that remind me of owls. They're cool. They're old. Not that old. All right, this is something I mushed together a long time ago. Rediscovered. I think it's part Alice in Wonderland and part Midsummer Night's Dream. All in the golden afternoon, full leisurely we glide, for both our oars, with little skill, by little arms are plied, while little hands make vain pretense are wandering to guide. Ah, cruel three, in such an hour, beneath such dreamy weather, to beg a tale of breath too weak to stir the tiniest feather. Yet what can one poor voice avail against three tongues together? Suddenly, Titania flashes forth her edict. To begin it, in gentler tone, Robin Goodfellow hopes there will be nonsense in it, while Oberon interrupts to say, not more than once a minute. Anon, to sudden silence one, in fancy they pursue the dream child, moving through a land of wonders wild and new, in friendly chat with bird or beast, and half believe it true. Read this other one. I have this one memorized, but I wrote it down anyway, so I don't stumble. It's the Mouse's Tale from Alice in Wonderland. People love Alice in Wonderland, but I don't know. I don't think most people know why the mouse was hiding in the teapot. So this explains it. It's the Mouse's Tale by Lewis Carroll, obviously. And the mouse is personified, of course, and then Fury is also a character, like Furry. It's personified. It's a character, like Mr. Fury, Mrs. Fury, or Fury Inc. More like it's Fury Inc. Fury said to the mouse that he met in the house, "Let us both go to law. I shall prosecute you. Come, I'll take no denial. We must have a trial, for really this morning I've nothing to do." Well, said the mouse to the cur, "Such a trial, dear sir, with no jury or judge, would be wasting our breath." "Well, I'll be judge and jury," said cunning old Fury. "I'll try the whole cause and condemn you to death." That's by the mouse hiding in a teapot. I don't know if there's more story before that, or well, that's a good one. Okay. There's a book. It's a children's book. But I like kids' books. I think a lot of grown-ups do. I'll read this first. My friend printed this for me in Arizona one. It's the standard thing, so I don't know who wrote it. It's a Buddhist prayer of forgiveness. It goes like this. If I have harmed anyone in any way, either knowingly or unknowingly, through my own confusions, I ask their forgiveness. If anyone has harmed me in any way, either knowingly or unknowingly, through their own confusions, I forgive them. And if there is a situation I am not yet ready to forgive, I forgive myself for that. For all the ways that I harm myself, negate, doubt, belittle myself, judge, or be unkind to myself through my own confusions, I forgive myself. Buddhist prayer for forgiveness. They're cool. They can't be quite that aesthetic, but there's Buddhism so important. Yeah. And then there's this other one she wrote down for me too. It's easy to remember. I don't know what it's called. I think it's just a thing. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature May all beings be free. Okay. So this is the children's book, The Runaway Horse by Paul Jacques Bonzan. Illustrated by William Penne Dubois. I don't know. The names are French, but this is about the Carousel in Watch Hill, Rhode Island. To merry-go-rounds everywhere, particularly to one in Watch Hill, Rhode Island, where flying horses still whirl round and round. Ow. This is the first picture. It's a carnival of some kind. From every corner of town, children came running. The merry-go-round had just opened for the season. The merry-go-round. How beautiful they were, those little wooden horses with their shiny red leather saddles and gold bridles, their silky, real horsehair maids. La la la. This is the carousel. The children. There it is. All things considered, they led a good life, those flying horses. Nothing to do but whirl round and round, carrying eager children to the merry music of a barrel organ. But who in this world is ever satisfied? One of those little wooden horses grew bored. How monotonous, he sighed, forever running in circles to the same old tunes, with only children for riders. A horse's ass. Couple. Every day this little wooden horse saw, passing the carousel, carriages and wagons drawn by real horses. And he wanted to be a real horse too, one who could trot along the road and carry grown-up passengers. One night, while the other wooden horses were all sleeping peacefully under the merry-go-round's wooden canopy, he suddenly thought, what if I should run away? It was a brave thought for a little wooden horse who had never stood by himself. As it is in the air, you know. He tried moving one foot. It would not budge. He tried another, then another, and finally the last. But his forehooves remained suspended in midair. He said, I'm trying to do something impossible. In anger, he tried to rear up as he had once seen a real horse do, unexpectedly. Wonder of wonders. He was free. It was so extraordinary, so marvelous to move about that he could hardly believe his luck. That's him freaking out. He'd be like, oh my God. As quietly as he could, the little wooden horse slipped out from among his sleeping companions, thinking how stupid they are to settle for such a dull life. With a toss of his head, he jumped over the merry-go-round's gate and, in a single bound, into the road. No one saw him leave, for the entire town was asleep. That's him hitting the road, open road. Clip-clop, clip-clop. Alone through town, the little wooden horse went. Oh dear! The road was not nearly so soft as the breeze beneath his feet when the merry-go-round turned. His legs, quite stiff from being still for so long, did not hold him up very well either. And without the horseshoes real horses wear, his hoofs wore down as they scraped along the gravel. Never mind, he was free. He stalked and whinnied the way real horses do. La la la. What fun! Then he trotted on again, clip-clop, clip-clop. He continued in this way with a golden slice of moon, above him in the sky. Then, tired out, he stopped by the side of the road. Suddenly, pricking up his ears, he heard a whinny just like his own. "There must be real horses over there," thought the little wooden horse excitedly. "Just like the ones on the merry-go-round." That was confusing. Pricking up his ears, he heard a whinny just like his own. "There must be real horses over there," he thought, the little wooden horse excitedly. "Just like the ones on the merry-go-round." Like as if there was a place where all these merry-go-round horses were free. Yeah. And if he was walking down the road now, that would be a whole different story. Look at the hound. Following the sound, he trotted across the fields until he came to a large barn. The door was not quite shut, so he stepped inside. "Phew," he snorted. "What a disagreeable smell. I wonder if all the houses where real horses live smell this way." Picking his way daintily through the straw, he ventured farther into the stable. A big horse stood fast asleep. The little wooden horse came closer and tapped his foot to wake him, but so faint was the sound of his wooden hoof and straw that the big horse went right on sleeping. Oh, that's a big real horse. It's like a Clydesdale or what do they call it? A raven? I don't know. Further on, there stood a still bigger horse asleep, but he was so huge that the little wooden horse was frightened and shied away. Finally, in the last stall, a black horse was awake, watching him curiously. Like you can see the one eye. Can you? One eye. The eye. What do you want here? She asked the little wooden horse as the little wooden horse approached. "I want to be a real horse." You are a merry-go-round horse?" "I should like to have real iron shoes on my hoofs," the wooden horse went on, "and be able to pull people in a carriage or do work in the fields that real horses do." "Well," the black horse replied, not unkindly, "you will have to eat lots of hay and oats to grow big and strong. Men only like horses that are big and strong." "Then I'll eat a lot and grow big and strong like you," the little horse said happily. He had decided to stay in the stable. And certainly he tried his best to eat lots of hay and oats all summer long. But alas, he had only a little wooden horse's stomach, and he hardly grew at all. After a while, he got tired of the rough stable life. The other horses made fun of him and his tiny hooves without shoes, his red leather saddle and shining gold bridle, which was beginning to tarnish. What's more, he could never get used to that awful smell the straw gave off. I like that smell. How much sweeter was the air at his own little merry-go-round. And that's how he came to miss the other wooden horses. One morning, tired of being laughed at, he left the stable and decided to go back to his friends. Clip-clop, clip-clop. It was far, but luckily he remembered the road. It was lined with tall trees, and it ran alongside the seaside. He came at last to the town. At last to his original town. Came at last to the town. Could it be? The park he had left, festooned with banners and full of music and happy children, was now deserted. The green trees he remembered had turned brown. The merry-go-round was nowhere to be seen in the park. Just the park, not the whole town. How will I ever find my friends? Sighed the little horse. For weeks, he wandered the roads, listening for the sweet sounds of the merry-go-round's barrel organ. Meanwhile, the weather grew steadily colder, and the rain turned to snow. Everything he saw had a quiet, strange look. There's been a hole all the way to the winter. The chilly wind in the branches of bare trees made the only music to reach his ears. That's all. Not a lot of sound there. I can't click that. This is a tarot card. I forget which one. It's minor. Then one day he came to a much bigger town with bright lights and shops lit up as though for a fair. Perhaps his merry-go-round would be here. It's still winter. So always merry-go-round open. Soundlessly, the little wooden horse trotted along the snowy sidewalks. What beautiful shops! And they were filled with toys. It was a place made for just the sort of happy children he had once carried on his back. Soon on the other side of a big glass wall, the store window, he thought he recognized his old friends. But what were they doing in there? Had they run away from the merry-go-round too? He slipped quietly through the half-open door into the store. There he is in the store. Hello, dear friends, he said delightedly. They looked with scorn at the little wooden horse. We are no friends of yours. Look at your threadbare saddle, your frayed bridle, chip paint and worn hoofs. We are brand new horses, not battered old wrecks. But you are not real horses, he said in confusion. And that's him with the other horses. Where are we going? I don't know. They're both there. We may not be real horses, they said heartily, but we are not merry-go-round horses either. Who are you then? Toys for the lucky children who will ask for us from Santa Claus. At the word children, the little wooden horse decided to stay. He jumped into the window beside the others. Yeah, that's him in the window. See how crazy he looks? Like, where's the fucking happy at? Okay. Poor little horse. He expected some eager child to come along and pat his silky mane or sit on his frayed leather saddle as they once had done. Though lots of children pressed their noses to the glass wall every day and pointed out the horses to their mothers and fathers, he was never chosen because he's a mess. Why don't they want me? He asked the others. You have no rockers to rock on, they said proudly, or wheels to roll on, as we do. They'll never want a tired old horse like you. And it's the kids who are like, I want the one that is animatronic. The little wooden horses grew sadder and sadder, but still he hoped that a finger would point his way. Alas, one morning he awoke to find the shop less brightly lit. No children came by at all. What's happening? He asked. Don't you know? Scoffed the donkey, who had not been chosen either. That's my friend. Christmas is over. Finished and done for this year. And you and I won't be going down any chimneys. Pretty soon, the storekeeper will move us upstairs into the loft. Then he'll throw an old canvas over us to keep out the dust until next Christmas. That's him, the donkey. I don't know if I show that. It's him, the donkey, chilling. Snoop Donkey. Never, the little wooden horse shuddered. And when nighttime came, he jumped through the glass door and out of the store to continue his search for the merry-go-round. Jump out the window. I can hear the sound of breaking glass. It's so good. Clip, clop, clip, clop. Once again, and for weeks on end, he roamed over the icy roads through biting winds. It's still just after Christmas. It's barely winter. His leather saddle was worn to shreds, his paint all chipped and peeling. Oh, but he's got a wreath around him. Green. Finally, in despair, he went back to the very town where his merry-go-round had once been, and there, in the park, he saw it again. Instantly, he recognized the smiling faces of children painted on its top. With a bound, he leapt over the gate to find his old place in the second row, next to the music. But what a shock! His spot had been taken by another horse. So he went back to the little town, and they had uncovered the merry-go-round that had been covered up for the winter. And spring again, he was busted all winter. And then somebody was in his spot. It was Dapple, like a Dapple horse. Grifter type. All his wooden horse courage left him when he saw the other horse in his spot. He had come so far, and they had forgotten him. Not for the merry-go-round people or the horses. I don't know who was who. Not for the world could he bring himself to take to the road again. He wanted neither to be back in the stable with the real horses, nor in the loft where the Christmas toys lay covered with canvas. What was the good of going on if the carousel had no room for him any more? All hope now lost, he simply collapsed. Oh yeah, that's how he fell down. He's tired, very tired. Take a booth or something. Oh, it's the organ. It's the organ. Barrel organ instead of barrel organ. That's pretty cool. It's got look at all the stuff on the side. Cool. I'll hope this one lost. Collapsed. There was a great clatter as he fell, and a man's voice called out, "Hey, look here! We've gotten one last horse. He's even missed out on his new spring painting." And before the little wooden horse knew what was happening, the worker had lifted him off the floor and was repainting him a beautiful caramel color. He gave him a lovely golden mane, a new red saddle, and shiny bridle too. Guy. Is that Guy? No, Guy. Guy. It's a Guy. Then, a miracle of miracles, a place was found for him in the second row, after all, right by the music of the barrel organ, which I guess was in the center. That's cool. The little wooden horse nearly burst with joy. And as you can imagine, there he stayed, content to this day. The merry-go-round, like the Joni Mitchell song. I forget who she said inspired that song. So I'll read the Buddhist prayers again because they're so nice. A Buddhist prayer of forgiveness. If I have harmed anyone in any way, either knowingly or unknowingly, through my own confusions, I ask their forgiveness. If anyone has harmed me in any way, either knowingly or unknowingly, through their own confusions, I forgive them. And if there's a situation I am not yet ready to forgive, I forgive myself for that. For all the ways that I harm myself, negate, doubt, belittle myself, judge, or be unkind to myself through my own confusions, I forgive myself. And somebody gave me this a year ago in Arizona, in Bisbee, Arizona. It's a border radio. I forget the Mexican station. It's really good too, though. Oh, KBRP is the Bisbee one. Shout out. Free radio. This is from one of the DJs on the Bisbee station. She has a Sunday show. Anyway, and maybe I'll figure out how to link it. Oh, I think I did. Yeah, it's somewhere in on here. I linked it. That's one of my links. KBRP. Joy Walden. Comfort and Joy Show. Or there's other good ones too. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. And may all beings be free. Sorry, I don't have any music to play. No background. The birds. I don't know how to end.